All right, so we're kind of continuing a conversation with Aaron here about trust and real estate and how this, some of the other questions that we're getting. So, Aaron, why don't you tell me some common mistakes that you see when people kind of think, hey, I'm going to start with a trust and I kind of get the ball rolling, but there's some things that they don't do. So why don't you kind of elaborate on what that means?
Absolutely. So having a trust created is a great first step with creating an estate plan that's going to be effective for your family. But where I see most people make mistakes is they went and they had a fancy trust created, but then they forget to actually fund the trust. What we call with funding a trust, it's a fancy legal term. Basically, what it means is that you actually put the ownership of the asset. So in the case of a house, so you deed the house into the name of the trust. And until the asset is actually deeded into the name of the trust doesn't control. That rule book doesn't apply to it anymore.
Okay.
So
Because it's outside the trust. Basically.
exactly.
Okay.
And so now you're looking at probate.
Okay.
So top two mistakes I see is, first one is they forget to actually fund the housing into the trust. If they have one house or many houses, you still have to get it into the name of the trust.
Okay.
And then the area where I'm seeing it also most common is, a lot of people are doing refinances these days, right?
Yep. Lots of refinances.
So what we see in that situation is, it's people will quit claim deed it outside of the trust into their personal name so that they could do the refi. But then after the refi is completed, they forget to actually deed it right back into the name of the trust. And so, they got lower rates, but now they forgot to actually connect it to their estate plan.
Okay, and and I've heard that from some other attorneys that I've talked to and some clients I did this myself, where you get it all set up, but you don't get the right pieces in that rule book, so to speak, to kind of protect what those things are. But there's lots of different things you can do, from just going direct title in there. There may be beneficiary deeds, and it's really going to kind of come down to that individual's kind of scenario as to how you advise that.
Absolutely. So it depends on you. Is this your primary residence? Is this an investment property? There's a whole bunch of factors that come into place. So it's best to actually meet with an attorney and let an attorney actually review all of your estate plans and your goals and all the assets, and come up with a way to actually get it funded.
Well, making sure if you're going to take the time and energy and resources to develop this, you got to make sure you set it up correctly. When you're looking at structuring an estate plan and protecting your assets, there are pieces that have to be in place. So you need to make sure you're sitting down with a good estate attorney to make sure you get that done.